There is a wooden planter box sitting on a folding table at a farmer's market about 10 minutes from my apartment. Inside it, nothing fancy. Green basil, a little thyme, some purple basil tucked in the corner, all of it spilling over the sides of a box built from old pallet wood. Maybe $3 of soil and seed in the whole thing. The tag on it says $35. And here's the part that made me stop walking. The woman behind that table sold 19 of them before lunch. I stood there in the middle of the market with my coffee going cold, doing the math like a fool, and it came out to over $600 on a Saturday morning from herbs. Now, I am not going to stand here and promise that you will make $5,000 a month growing plants. Some folks genuinely do, and I will show you how the math gets there. What I am telling you is that food you grow with your own hands is worth real money. And today I am walking you through 10 different ways people turn dirt cheap growing into actual income, with honest numbers on every single one. Stay with me all the way to the end, because the gap between the folks who make $40 a month at this and the folks who make $4,000 is not the plant, and it is not the price. It is one specific thing about the way the money comes in, and number 10 is built entirely around it. I'm Jake, though most folks know me as Backyard Buddy. 3 years ago, I was the guy who killed houseplants, and then a bunch of green onion ends I tossed at the trash can missed, landed in a glass of water on the counter, and sprouted. Since then, I have regrown hundreds of plants from kitchen scraps on my windowsills and my balcony. My grocery bill has dropped by nearly a third, and my neighbor Gloria, the retired school teacher who taught me half of what I know, has been growing on her balcony for 20 years. Now, a little honesty before we start, because you and I have both seen enough big numbers on the internet to be suspicious of all of them. I grow from my own kitchen. The dollar figures in this video come from what these things actually sell for right now at real farmers markets, in real online listings, and from real conversations I've had with the people behind those folding tables over 3 years of being the guy who asks too many questions. Some of these 10 will make you a couple $100s a month. A few of them, done seriously, carry people to that $5,000 number in the title. And here is why this works at all. Walk through any grocery store produce section and look at the prices. A pound of microgreens, priced out by the ounce, costs more than a decent steak. A little pot of living basil runs $5 or $6. Fresh flowers, saved seeds, healthy seedlings in spring, all of it sells for many times what it costs to grow. The raw materials are sunlight, water, patience, and in a lot of cases, the very scraps your kitchen already throws away. Keep that question from the beginning in the back of your mind, the one about how the money actually comes in, because it is going to quietly change how you look at every item on this list. Now, everything on this list starts with the same cheap inventory, and most of it is sitting in your kitchen tonight, which is exactly why I put together a book called The 30-Day Kitchen Scrap Garden Protocol. Zero waste, zero experience, free food. It is the complete 30-day plan for turning the scraps you already throw away into growing food, written for absolute beginners with zero experience, zero yard, and close to zero budget, in the same walk-you-through-it style I use here every week. Inside there are 31 regrowable crops, each with its own plain instructions, a $10 starter kit gathered mostly from things you already own, the full day-by-day plan from your first glass of water to your first harvests, and troubleshooting for when a scrap decides to sulk. It is 172 pages, and it costs $17, marked down from $47. One time, against a grocery bill that drops every single week after, it is the easiest math on this whole list. Now, go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. Number 1. Vegetable and herb seedlings. Every spring, garden centers across America sell little tomato and pepper seedlings in plastic cups for $4, $5, sometimes $6 a piece. Each one of those plants started as a seed that cost pennies, sitting in a few cents of soil on somebody's shelf. That somebody can be you, on a balcony with one wire shelf rack by a sunny window. A single shelf unit holds around 200 seedlings in small cups. Start them in late winter, about 8 weeks before your last frost, and by the time your neighbors are itching to plant, you have a table's worth of inventory. 200 seedlings at $4 each is $800 from one flush from one shelf. Serious seedling sellers run 2 or 3 flushes a season and add herbs like basil, which people buy on site. And you do not even have to buy all your seed. The seeds inside a ripe grocery store tomato, dried on a paper towel on the kitchen counter, will grow you tomato plants. That's not garbage, that's groceries, and in springtime, it is inventory. Sell through a card table at a yard sale, a local plant swap page online, or a farmer's market booth shared with a friend. One warning from a guy who learned it the slow way. Label everything the day you plant it. 200 unlabeled cups of mystery seedlings is a comedy, but it is not a business. Now, seedlings are a springtime paycheck. This next one sells all year long, and it is the exact thing from that farmer's market table that stopped me in my tracks. Number 2. Living herb planter boxes. This is the $35 wooden box from the beginning of the video. And once you see how it is made, you will never look at one the same way again. The box itself is pallet wood or fence board scraps screwed into a simple rectangle, and people love the rough, weathered look, so the uglier the wood, the better. The plants inside can start 3 ways, from seed for pennies, from cuttings of herbs you already grow for free, or from those living basil pots at the grocery store, which are actually a dozen seedlings crammed in one pot. Separate them gently, and one $4 pot becomes 12 plants. Plant them in the box a few weeks before you want to sell. Let them fill in until they look lush and overflowing. Total cost sits around $3 to $5 per box. They sell for $25 to $35 at markets, and even more around Mother's Day, when a living herb garden beats a bouquet that dies in a week. 10 boxes a month is roughly $300. A market table on the right Saturday, like the one I watched, can move 19 before lunch. The work fits on a balcony, the materials are nearly free, and if I can grow a box of basil, I promise you can. But growing things to sell is only half the picture. This next one makes money from the part of your kitchen you have definitely been throwing away, and you never plant a single seed. Number 3. Worm castings. Stay with me here, because I know how this sounds. There are people paying $8 to $12 for a small bag of what is, politely, worm droppings. Gardeners call them castings, and they are some of the richest natural fertilizer on earth. Plants respond to them like magic, and serious gardeners happily pay for them because a little goes a long way. Here is how it works in an apartment. You set up a plastic bin with air holes about the size of a storage tote, and it lives under a sink or on a balcony. You add shredded newspaper, a scoop of soil, and composting worms, which cost about $30 to $40 for a starter pound. Then, you feed them your kitchen scraps, vegetable peels, coffee grounds, apple cores, eggshells. The worms eat close to half their weight every day, and what comes out the other end is the castings. Every couple of months you harvest a batch, dry it slightly, and bag it. A healthy bin produces pounds of the stuff, and the worms multiply on their own, so your little herd doubles roughly every 3 months. Sell bags at farmers markets, to community gardens, or online locally. And there is a second product hiding in the same bin, because fishermen and new worm bin folks buy the extra worms themselves. A done-right bin has no smell at all, and I mean none. Your scraps go in, money comes out, and nothing in your kitchen hits the trash. Now worms turn waste into product. This next one turns a single houseplant into an assembly line. Number 4, houseplant propagation. Walk into any home goods store and look at the price on a potted pothos or a spider plant. $10, $15, $20 for a full one. Every single one of those plants can be cloned for free in a glass of water on a windowsill, and that is the entire business. Snip a pothos vine just below one of the little bumps on the stem, which is called a node, and the node is simply the spot where roots know how to grow. Set the cutting in water. In 2 to 3 weeks, you have roots. Pot it in a thrift store mug or a dollar store pot. Let it settle for a few weeks, and it sells for $8 to $15 on local marketplace pages, at yard sales, or on a market table right next to your herb boxes. Spider plants are even easier because they hand you ready-made babies dangling on stems, already trying to leave home. One healthy mother plant produces cuttings every few weeks, forever. 10 sales a month is around $100 from a windowsill of glasses, and folks who fill a shelf rack do several times that. Remember, this is coming from the man who once killed a cactus, which takes real commitment. If I can root a pothos, so can you. Now, we are about to hit the biggest earner in the growing half of this list, and I want you to pay close attention to who buys this next one, because that little detail is the first breadcrumb on the trail to number 10. Number 5. Microgreens. Microgreens are just ordinary vegetable seedlings, radish, broccoli, sunflower, pea, harvested when they are 1 to 2 weeks old and a couple inches tall. Chefs adore them, health-minded shoppers adore them, and the prices are honestly hard to believe. Priced out by the pound, quality microgreens sell for $20 to $40. Not a typo, and I checked it more than once. Here's the whole operation. A standard 10 by 20 inch growing tray, an inch of soil, and $2 to $3 of seed sown thick, like you were salting a driveway before snow. Water it, keep it dark for 3 days, then give it light. A cheap shop light on a shelf rack works fine, no sun required, which means a spare closet or a corner of a living room is a farm. In 10 days, and I do mean 10 days, the tray is a solid green carpet ready to cut. One tray yields around half a pound to a pound, depending on the crop, and sells for $15 to $25 as live trays or cut greens. A shelf rack holding 8 trays, restarted every week, is a few $100s a month from 4 square feet of floor. The turnaround is the beauty of it. Tomatoes make you wait all summer. Microgreens pay you every 10 days, all year, through every blizzard. Hold on to that thought about the chefs, because we are coming back to them. Meanwhile, this next one takes the same idea and points it at your neighbors instead. Number 6. Weekly salad greens. There is a kind of lettuce called cut and come again, and it does exactly what the name says. You grow leaf lettuce in a long container, snip the outer leaves an inch above the soil, and the plant shrugs and grows new ones. One planting gives you 3, 4, sometimes 5 harvests before it retires. Now look at the store price of a plastic clamshell of washed greens, $5 to $7, half of it wilting by Thursday. Your version was cut the same morning it gets eaten, and that freshness is something a supermarket physically cannot sell. The side hustle is beautifully simple. A few long window boxes or storage totes on a balcony, seated in waves 2 weeks apart so something is always ready. Each week you cut, rinse, spin dry, and bag. Then you sell fresh bags to the easiest customers on earth, the people in your own building, your own street, your own church potluck crowd. $5 to $8 a bag is the going rate, and one balcony of staggered boxes supports 8 to 12 bags a week. Call it $300 a month at the modest end, from lettuce. Notice something about this one, because it is the second breadcrumb. Mrs. Alvarez does not buy a bag of lettuce once. She buys one every single week. File that away. Now, everything so far has been food. This next one is pure joy by the stem, and it is the one that benefits most from a little extra space. Number 7. Cut flowers. Fresh flowers might be the highest markup of anything that grows. A supermarket bouquet runs $15 to $25, and a farmer's market bouquet of zinnias, sunflowers, and cosmos sells for $10 to $20, all from seed packets costing $3 or $4. Zinnias are the workhorse here, because like that lettuce, they are a cut-and-come-again crop. The more stems you cut, the more the plant branches and produces, so one summer planting throws flowers at you for months. Full honesty from your buddy on the balcony, this is the one item where more space genuinely helps. Flowers want 6+ hours of direct sun and room to stretch. My answer, and Gloria's answer for 20 years, is 5-gallon buckets, which grow shockingly good sunflowers and zinnias on a sunny balcony. For real volume, a community garden plot, often $25 to $50 for a whole season, turns this from pocket money into steady money. Sell bouquets at markets to neighbors, and here is the sweet spot, as simple standing arrangements for small local spots like cafes and salons that want fresh flowers on the counter every week without florist prices. That is breadcrumb number 3 in case you're counting. A modest patch of cutting flowers, harvested weekly through the season, brings in a few $100s a month. But that wasn't even the part that surprised me most when I started adding all this up. The next one might be the strangest dollar math on the entire list. Number 8. Saved seeds. Think about what a seed packet is for a second. A paper envelope, a nice drawing, and inside it, somewhere between 10 and 50 seeds. It sells for $3 to $4. Now, cut open one ripe heirloom tomato and count. One tomato carries 100 or more seeds. One dried sunflower head carries hundreds. One bolted lettuce plant, the kind that shoots up a flower stalk when summer gets hot, produces thousands. The raw material for this entire side hustle is quite literally the part of the plant everyone else throws away, which is about the most backyard buddy sentence I have ever said. The catch, and it matters, is that you want open-pollinated or heirloom varieties, which simply means old-fashioned kinds whose seeds grow true so the babies match the parents. The word heirloom on the original packet or the tomato label is your green light. Scoop tomato seeds into a jar of water for 2 or 3 days until the gel coating breaks down, rinse, and dry them fully on a plate for 2 weeks. Fully dry, that is the rule you repeat, because damp seeds mold. Fold them into little paper envelopes, write the variety and the year, and sell packets at markets, plant swaps, and online, where rare heirloom varieties genuinely move for $3 to $5 a packet. Seeds cost you nothing, weigh nothing, store for years, and mail for a stamp. Remember that question from the very beginning about how the money comes in? 2 more items, and I pay it off in full. First, the one where you sell what is between your ears. Number 9. Teaching what you know. Somewhere in the last 8 items, you may have thought, well, I already knew how to do that. Good. That knowledge is the product. There is a wave of people, young couples, new retirees, apartment folks staring at empty balconies who want to grow food and have absolutely no idea where to put the first seed. They do not want a lecture from a scientist. They want a neighbor who has actually done it, standing next to them saying, "You cannot really mess this up." Libraries and community centers are actively hunting for exactly this kind of program, and a beginner workshop, container gardening, regrowing kitchen scraps, seed starting, fills a room at $15 to $25 a seat. 12 people at $20 is $240 for a 90-minute morning where you talk about the thing you love. Bring show and tell. A jar of green onions regrowing in water does more convincing than an hour of slides, and I know that because a glass of water is the entire reason I am standing here. The second half of this one is setup help, where you spend a Saturday putting in containers, soil, and starter plants for someone who wants a balcony garden but not the homework, for a flat fee plus materials. Every hustle so far has been an ingredient. Number 10 is the recipe that turns them into a real monthly income, and it is where I finally answer the question I planted at the very start. Number 10. Standing orders, and the answer I promised you. Here it is. The difference between $40 a month and $4,000 is not the plant, and it is not the price. It is whether the money repeats without you reselling it. Think about what a one-time sale really is. You sell a herb box on Saturday, and Sunday morning your income is back to zero. Every month starts from nothing, and you spend half your energy hunting the next stranger. Now look at a standing order. A restaurant chef needs pea shoots and radish microgreens on every plate, every service, 52 weeks a year. Right now, that chef pays a wholesale supplier city prices for trays that traveled for days. You walk in with a sample tray cut that morning and offer a simple deal, the same delivery every Tuesday, fresher than anything a truck brings, at a fair weekly price. One modest restaurant account, a few trays of microgreens plus herbs, runs $80 to $120 a week. That is one customer, sold one time, paying $400 to $500 a month indefinitely. And standing orders stack, the second account does not replace the first, it sits on top of it. 10 steady accounts at around $100 a week is roughly $4,300 a month. And that, right there, is how real people actually reach the number in the title, usually by stacking the repeaters from this list. Weekly microgreens to 2 or 3 restaurants, weekly salad bags to a dozen neighbors, weekly flowers to a cafe counter. Those were the 3 breadcrumbs, and they all pointed at the same quiet mechanism. Grow for people who run out on a schedule, and the money arrives on a schedule too. That is the whole secret, and nobody at the market ever says it out loud. And that is really the whole idea behind everything I do. One scrap, one glass of water, one small step at a time. The book walks you through 31 of those steps, day by day, starting with things that are in your kitchen tonight. The 30-day kitchen scrap garden protocol is $17, down from $47 one time. And whether you ever sell a single seedling or just want to watch your own grocery bill shrink the way mine did, it is the gentlest possible starting line. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So that is 10 honest ways to turn growing into income, and one quiet rule underneath them all: sell to people who come back every week. Now tell me in the comments which of these 10 you would try first, or the one you are already doing on your own windowsill, because I read every single one. Next time, I am going to show you the 5 kitchen scraps that regrow the fastest, including one that goes from the trash can to your dinner plate in 10 days flat. Don't throw it away. Grow it. I'll see you next time, buddy.